Good evening and welcome. Just letting you know the show is going to start in about 15 minutes. Once again, welcome to K4 Comedy. The show will start in about 15 minutes. Once again, thank you folks that are joining us on YouTube. Right before the show, depending on availability, we may have a special opportunity for you to join the show live. And by joining the show live, there will be a Zoom link put right in the chat. All you have to do is click that link, and then you can join us on the Zoom. Okay, and then my guys just told me we can't put a link in a YouTube chat, so we'll see what happens. But either way, we'll post the code to get into the YouTube or get into the Zoom. So if we post the code to get into the Zoom, all you've got to do is join Zoom, and then click the access code for the meeting ID, and you'll be directly able to interact with our entertainers this evening. So thanks to all the people that are already online. We've got about 10 minutes till the show. So I want to make sure everyone knows that there is a special link going to be available in the chat on YouTube that you can access the direct link to the Zoom where you can come on in and enjoy the show and interact directly with our comedy entertainers tonight. Once again, and welcome everybody here. Want to make sure everyone knows that if you are in the Zoom, please follow along with the instructions on screen for adjusting your audio. We'd love to have everybody involved in the show, so please take a moment, look through the instructions on screen. If you have any troubles, just let us know and we'll do our best to help you out. Once again, all the people watching on YouTube, there is also a link now in the chat. And if the link doesn't work, just follow the instructions for the Zoom meeting ID and feel free to join us directly in the room. So we can see you people as you start to log into the Zoom room. So feel free to name yourself with your first names. If there's multiple people in the room, like Keith Tilley, feel free to put a couple of names of the people with you. Brian, you could put your wife's name if that's your wife beside you. If it's just your girlfriend, put her name, but don't tell your wife. And welcome to joining the show. We'd love to be able to have everybody with their cameras on, their audio on, but have your audio adjusted as the instructions show on screen. I like it. Tilly Crew +9. There you go. When the show starts, we will ask you to unmute your microphones because you will be able to laugh out loud and put that audio through so everybody can hear it on the live stream and everybody in studio can hear that. So make sure you're ready to have your microphones unmuted. It's an important part of the show. We're a few moments away. We've still got people joining, so we want to make sure everyone's got a moment to get ready. And I also see we've got a whole bunch more people joining on YouTube. So if you're joining on YouTube, there is a link in the chat for you to join directly on the Zoom as well, so you can be seen and heard. We'd love to have some more people in the Zoom room. So take a moment, click the link. If the link doesn't work, just go ahead and follow the number for the meeting ID, which is 780-975-6152. And you can join that meeting ID to join the meeting directly. We will ask that you have your cameras on and your audio unmuted, but have your audio adjusted so your microphone is down to about 30%. So as we have more people joining the YouTube and the Zoom, you're going to get tired of hearing my voice, but we're just getting everybody ready. So if you haven't had a chance yet, make sure you adjust your microphone volume to about 30% and have your cameras on. A big part of the show tonight is our entertainers will be able to see each and every one of you, so please keep your pants on, and we will have that as part of the show if necessary. So once you've got your microphone set at about 30%, when the show starts, we will ask you to unmute. See, there's the Tilly crew +9. They're going a little premature. We're going to mute you right now. We've heard that you guys are a little bit, we won't say it. And once again, it's going, yes, somebody just said, is this going to interrupt the Oilers game? Yes, this will interrupt the Oilers game, but the best part of the Oilers game is you can record the Oilers game where you can't record live comedy. So stick around and join the Zoom. We're going to put the Zoom link into the chat one more time, maybe two more times. And if you don't know how to join the Zoom link and you can hear us, all you've got to do is go to Zoom. TJH, no, you could stay still. Don't worry. And go to Zoom, enter the meeting ID, 780.
Okay, 780, do you see how?
I can hear you. 780-975-6152. That's 780-975-6152. So we are letting all the cool kids into Zoom, so all the cool kids can come and join us on the Zoom. Make sure you follow the link in the chat on YouTube, and if you don't know how to do that on YouTube, go to Zoom, enter the code, and you're in. We will let you in the room. You'll be part of the show. Ask that you have your cameras on, like Angie's, I said that weird, Angie's iPhone is off. We can't see her video, so she's put a piece of paper over it or something. She's hiding. And Tim Lancaster's eating. So we can see it all. We love having you as part of the show. I hope supper's good there, Tim. And also, good time to tell you, when you adjust your audio, set it about 30% because we'd love to hear you when the show starts. It's a big part of the show, and Brian and Shelley unmuted a little early, so we're going to mute them for right now. But when the show starts, we will get everybody to unmute. And if you are really loud, don't be offended if we mute you. It's probably just that we didn't like you. So we do have some people still joining, so we're going to give it one more minute before the show starts, maybe two, maybe three. We'll see. The show's going to start right away, so our final reminder, though, that if you do wish to join directly in the Zoom, please enter that meeting ID that is in the chat or click the link, and you can join us on Zoom directly. Just have your microphone set at 30%, have your cameras on, and we do ask that if you're really, really not good looking, to stay off camera. I saw that with the Tilly crew +9, so we'll see how that goes. And we see there's 66 people on YouTube that we do want to join the room. So you people on YouTube, feel free to come on over and join us directly in the Zoom room. Go to Zoom, enter the code 780-975-6152 as the meeting ID, and we can let you directly into the room. We'd love to see your smiling faces and have your audio on. So, and I love the fact that the guy says the announcer has a face for radio. You know, I've been told that, and I've also been told that I've got a voice for print. So, I won't say it because we're live on YouTube.
Out how.
You totally figured out how. You just unmuted. That's exactly what we're going to want in a minute. Are you okay, Chris?
Yeah, we're doing well. Hi, Lavins. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna mute myself again.
You're good. You're talking to the world. We love it. So the show's going to start as soon as I get a wave. We're going to get you started with your amazing host, Kent Tilley from K4 Financial. He's going to start us out, and he'll get the show rolling. So hang tight. We'll do our final notice. I know I said final notice earlier, but I'm a liar. I could say whatever I want because I've got a face for radio, as was pointed out in the YouTube chat, which is incredibly hurtful and painful for me. So the person that did that in YouTube, I will hunt you down. Liam Neeson is my uncle. So if you want to join on the YouTube or on the Zoom, click the link in the YouTube, follow us to Zoom, join the Zoom. We can see you, we can hear you, and it's way more fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple of people still joining. We're going to let Nikki into the room, but it is time for the show. So welcome at this time. Unmute your microphones, folks, and welcome your amazing host, Mr. Kent Tilley.
Unreal. Yeah. Unbelievable. This will be fun. So this is kind of weird. Hey, guys. Hey, Kirby. Lavins. Anna-Marie. Hi, Gail. Chris. Aaron. Craig. Logan's here. My nephew's here. Hey, I think there's some people on YouTube. Timmy, how you doing? Yeah. Everybody's like, what are you talking? Oh, hi, Tanya. Thanks for helping me organize. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys very much for coming. This is the weirdest comedy show I've probably ever done in my entire life. And I didn't really think too much about what I was planning on doing. So I just one day I had an idea and I said, well, some people actually pay attention to my YouTube channel and maybe we can get some people to actually watch a comedy show. And this year has obviously been very hard for stand-up comedians. It's the thing that I've missed the most, other than my friends, is stand-up comedy, and I wish that I could do it. And I talk to my friends in comedy all the time, and they just haven't been able to do anything or make any money. And so I thought, well, maybe I can help with that. Sheldon at Infinite Events has put together this awesome studio. I don't know how they do it. So I came together with him and I said, let's put a show on. I'll ask some friends in Edmonton who own some companies that I love if they'll help and sponsor this event for me, so we can actually pay these comedians a little bit of money, because they've been, you know, sort of stuck with some hard times this year. So throughout the show, you're going to see a bunch of companies behind me. These are friends of mine in Edmonton and area that own some small companies. And, you know, they were kind enough to help and sort of put this event on for us. Because I can't afford to pay these guys their huge rate of $50 a night or whatever they charge. It's big money in comedy these days. And I don't know who's in the Tilly Crew backyard anyway. Like, who's there? Just nobody? Oh, hi. I thought we were supposed to be able to hear people, but everybody turned off their mics, so it's just like guaranteed nobody's laughing at jokes. That's why I won't tell any of my jokes. Yeah, this is really fun. At least I can hear Sean laughing a little bit in the back, which is nice. I'll tell a couple of my jokes. I am literally the worst MC in like stand-up comedy in Canada, and I don't want to be an MC, but I knew that since this was like my event, I guess I should host it. And I don't really like telling my jokes, and I was looking through my list today of jokes that I could potentially tell, and every single one of them was a little bit too offside. So I guess I have about 3 jokes that are fair to tell on my own channel. We'll start with the first joke that I ever wrote, and still, I guess, maybe one of my favorite, and maybe the first time you ever came across my channel or met me, or as I'm standing here talking to you guys today, you're all probably like, I think this guy's like jacked up on like 7 or 8 Red Bulls right now. No. It's just my natural energy. Super pumped up all the time. It might have come as a surprise to you the first time you heard my voice, but imagine what a surprise it was to me the first time I heard it. Because I was always sort of under the impression that I talked at a regular speed with more than one tone. I remember the first time I heard myself on the answering machine, I was like, think that thing's running out of batteries or something. Didn't even have batteries. And then my wife was like, don't tell any jokes about me. And I'm like, well, those are kind of the only other ones I have that are even remotely appropriate. So we have a 6-year-old now, and we love him, obviously, so much. And when my wife got pregnant, we had tried really hard to get pregnant. And so we were both really excited. And every week we'd watch these videos on YouTube about what to expect when you're expecting. And there was this crazy lady on YouTube talking about the developmental stages of the baby. And in week 23, she was like, nothing really that exciting happened. But she's like, this week your baby's probably about 1 pound. And so, you know, that was kind of neat, I guess. And the next day I'm getting ready for work and I'm on the scale. And I was like, holy crap, honey. Like, this dad bod is coming in real nice. Gained a bunch of weight. I look like crap. And she's like, you're right. You do look like shit, but, you know, don't worry too much, because, like, I've gained some weight, too, since I got pregnant. I've gained, like, 20 pounds since I got pregnant. And I was like, well, I mean, at least, you know, one of those pounds is the baby. So, like, now I get to see my son on weekends and shit. No, we still live together, which is nice. Hi, honey. The what am I thinking about here? I don't even remember. It's hard. I haven't done a show literally since September. I don't even remember any of my jokes, which is fun. I guess I'll tell one more. And Sarah's here. Sarah, I'll throw in your joke later because I was like, that one, yeah, she's super pumped. I'll tell you one more joke before I bring up the first comedian, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about the comedians before they come. But I've tried to put together like a really good show of great Edmonton comedians. There's tons of hilarious comedians in this country, and there's tons right here in Edmonton, and so I put together a very diverse show for you. 4, I guess, guys that kind of all look the same. But anyway, that's Edmonton, I guess. But I was just thinking back on when my wife and I got engaged, and that was a really special moment. And, it was really nice. But I was really stressed when we got engaged because one of the things about getting engaged is they're like, you've got to spend like 3 months' salary on a ring, which at the time was pretty sweet because 3 months' salary as a comedian is like $300. So I'm like sitting there with this sweet ring burning a hole in my pocket, and I'm thinking to myself, like, because I'm super romantic, I'm like, how am I going to make this perfect? So I thought maybe one night, while we were lying next to each other in bed, I could just text her. Be like, baby, I love you. Will you marry me? Then if she said no, I would just be like, LOL, JK, baby. But turned out she said yes, and oh, I totally screwed that joke up. Yeah. I'm a little rusty. This is problematic. And then the laughs are like kind of like half, like I see people kind of smiling, and then Richard's working and shit. And so he's like, Richard's doing his stuff. What a beauty. Anyway, so yeah, I totally screwed up that punchline. This is easily the most awkward show I've ever done. I'm just looking at myself, which I don't like to do. None of this is comfortable. Thank you guys very much for joining us. I'll see if I can get my act together. We'll talk a little bit more. I'll come up in between each act, but I do want to present the first comedian of the night. And you might have noticed that my wonderful assistant is pregnant. She is leaving us very soon. She's eating snacks right now because she's hungry. And so she was editing the videos all the time, and I thought, okay, well, we're going to need a video editor to come in, and I love for them to be really funny. And a friend of mine, Ryan Ash, is a beautiful video editor. He's a hilarious comedian, so I was like, please make the videos funny. And I thought, he's a new part of the K4 team anyways. What better way to introduce this guy to everybody out there? Also a new father, just had his first baby 2 weeks ago. Ryan Ash, everybody.
Thanks, pal. Hey, everybody on Zoom. Let me see you give it up one more time for Ken Tilley. Put your virtual hands together. Yeah, that's right. Tilley Crew Plus 9, all these. Awesome. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Yeah. Hi, my name is Ryan, and you may be looking at me right now and are like, hey, where have I seen this guy before? I'll help you out. I look kind of like Superman fucked Mr. Bean. Breathe it in. This is what it looks like. Oh, man. Yeah, it's super weird being away from home. This is the first time for a couple of weeks besides occasional grocery run because I've had my first daughter. My wife and I had a beautiful daughter. Her name is Livy. She's absolutely fantastic. And, yeah, I've just been sitting in the home, hanging out for 3 weeks, trying to figure out what kind of father I'm going to be. I think I'm probably going to end up being a lot like my dad, which is like a guy who means well enough but does impulsive shit. Like, one thing I'll always remember about my dad is this day. We were sitting in traffic, just a father-son duo. I was pretty young. We were sitting in the car, and then out of nowhere, there's a father-son duo in a car in front of us, And the father of that father-son duo started reaching across and like hitting the kid in the car. It was the early 90s, so it was completely unacceptable then as well. You thought I was going to justify it? No, it was totally unacceptable. So he's just teeing up on the kid. So my dad loses it, gets out of the car, goes, pulls the dude out of the car, and beats the shit out of him in traffic. Yeah. So I'm in the car by myself, terrified, unsure of what to do next. So I pulled the kid out of the car and I beat the shit out of him. Oh, man. Totally the right move to make, man. I tell you, that bonding experience with my pop, unbelievable. You know, father-son beatdown in traffic. At one point, I looked at him. We gave the nod, dual roundhouse kick. You couldn't believe it. And probably a good bonding experience for them as well, because the next time the dad goes to tee up on the kid gives him a look like, Dad, are you sure? And the dad's like, oh, yeah, got that egg on my face. And it doesn't happen. That's how it works, right? Yeah, that's how it works. All right. So, yeah, trying to figure out what dad I'm going to be. I realized something. We brought Livy home, and first week at home, she was totally cool overnight. She slept really well. She ate on time. It was unbelievable. And it was also due to the fact that she was very overtired from having jaundice. Oh, no, she was a jaundiced baby. So then we took her to the hospital. We gave her phototherapy. And then she perked up, and she's been ruining every fucking night since. And it's been a real treat. I'm like, oh, man, jaundiced baby was the better baby. That was definitely the baby to have. I miss jaundiced baby. So compliant, calm, yellow like The Simpsons. Who doesn't love The Simpsons, right? TV families lasted the longest. So now I'm going to try to re-jaundice the baby. I don't know how, but I set up like some black lights in the room because black light's obviously the opposite of regular light. So I'm going to uncure the jaundice. Turn the black lights on. It's been on for a couple of days in a row, and I can tell it's not really unjaundicing her or re-jaundicing her, but she's probably going to grow up addicted to MDMA, so... While my wife was pregnant, I started to get super COVID fat. I was getting to skip the dishes, just sides of gravy. Just drinking gravy, man. It's been a tough go. I've added a lot of weight. But over the course of my wife being pregnant, everyone would be like, it's okay, Ryan, that you're becoming kind of a fat fuck, because that's sympathy weight. Yeah, you're gaining weight because she's gaining weight. And I'm like, ha ha ha, the patriarchy strikes again. That's hilarious. That's my coupon for just going to war with my body for 9 months, I guess, is sympathy weight. That's unbelievable. Thank you, society, for that. Just like, oh, yeah, you're having trouble walking? Yeah, I'm having trouble finishing this poutine. Oh, man. Sympathy weight. Things are tough all over, pony boy. Your water just broke. My ranch just spilled. Oh, my God. Tragedy everywhere. Then I heard of a thing called a sympathetic pregnancy. Now, this takes it a step further. This is when a man goes into the labor room with his wife and experiences, has anyone heard of this? Zoom people? Yeah, okay. One guy's shaking his head no, and that's my type of dude, because I feel you right now. The way you're reacting to it is the way I reacted to it. I'm just like, oh, fuck. There is no way any case of that didn't end in divorce. It's like a woman is going into third or second stage labor or whatever, just like, and then the dude is also pretending to have labor pains, like, oh, me too. You get that guy right the fuck out of your life. We're going to finish that joke one day. We are. Yeah. So, it's COVID times. I'm happy because... finally, all those weed stocks I bought pre-legalization are going up a little bit because all the CERB checks are rolling in. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm big into legalization because I've smoked pot for a long-ass time, but I look like this. So as I aged, it became harder and harder to meet new and interesting drug dealers. I mean... Because I look like a cop, you know? Like, I look like I would tell on you for selling me drugs, right? But my voice has got this stoner surfer thing to it after decades of smoking. So guess who sounds just like an undercover cop trying to be cool? You know? They're like, hey, you kids like skateboarding? Get the fuck out of here, man. And like, how do you meet a new drug dealer? What am I going to do? Hang out outside of a high school? Like, hey, come here, get in my car. I need to talk to you alone. It's not a great look. So I was happy when legalization rolled around. But now I got baby, and you can't be getting high around baby if you get, because I'm still a lightweight despite doing it a lot. Like, I only have like 3 hoots and I'm done. So, like, you can't be that guy with a baby because you just end up going for the Jolly Ranchers and dropping her and bonking her head off the counter, and then she grows up just like you, and that's no good. So I had to stop. And now I can feel it. I'm getting even more COVID fat because I lost my diet. And you guys are probably like, but Ryan, when you smoke weed, you eat more food. When you stop smoking weed, you should lose weight. It just stands to reason. Nah, depends how you do it. I had a very good system. I'd go to the Superstore parking lot when I was still getting baked, and I'd smoke a fatty, get unbelievably just pie-eyed. Then I would walk around inside Superstore, and everything would look so delicious I could not possibly make a choice. Yeah. So I'd trudge around for 45 minutes, I'd burn 400 calories, and then someone would scare me, and I would leave. Pretty good system of weight loss. Yeah. So, I've been having a great time. Moved to Alberta about a year and a half ago. We moved here to be close to my family while we started a family of our own. So mission accomplished as of 3 weeks ago. Thank you, darling. My wife is watching with Livy right now. And I love my wife. And it gets more intense all the time after having the kid thing. But I still remember our wedding day, and I proved to the world that I'm a very progressive man. Yeah, because it's 2020s right now, people, and I'm progressive. Because when I married my wife, I proved that a man, or excuse me, I'm going to back that up. It's been months. I'm knocking the rust off, and I'm not going to let this joke go to waste. So that was about half a minute of me fucking up and another half a minute of me explaining it. So I guess that means, because I fucked up that a little bit, that you'll probably be donating less to charity at the end of this show. And that hits hard. Probably me taking the time to re-explain that has actually further increased the deficit. And I'm actively knocking fajitas out of young kids' mouths. Why did I choose fajitas? I don't know. Anyhow, what were we talking about? Yeah, okay. So, I'm getting back to it. Hey, someone on Zoom remind me of what I was talking about. This sucks.
How progressive you are.
Oh yeah, that's right. How progressive I am. Thanks, wife. And when I married my wife, I proved I'm super progressive because my wife makes way more money than I do. And I'm totally cool with it. Yeah, I'm like, yo, go buy yourself something nice. Your money. No. She's amazing, man. She's my hero. She's a psychologist, and she deals with the heavy shit. She deals with like narcissistic behavior and sociopathic behavior, gambling, drug addiction, and then she stops talking to me and goes to work. Yeah. Amazing. And I wanted to get on that level over the course of COVID. I wanted to use my free time to kind of, study up so I could have academic conversations with her about psychology. So I read some psychology texts, but I was still just a relatively dumb dude reading psychology smart books. So all that ended up happening was I diagnosed like every single fast food place with a mental health disorder. It's going to get weird, so stick with me here. I think that A&W probably would have Alzheimer's because they're stuck in the 50s and they have to name shit after members of the family to help. I think Arby's is probably OCD. They need everything to be clean all the time. That's why there's never anyone in an Arby's. I'd say like KFC is probably clinical depression because something went wrong. About 20 years ago when they banned trans fats, KFC just took a left turn and never recovered. It's always been a shadow of its former self. Always just trying to repurpose chicken in new forms and never really doing anything new with it. Just like, hey, well, now look at them together. It's popcorn fries. Could I have $10? Yes, KFC, you can have $10. Leave me the fuck alone. Please and thank you. If this is just about money, you can have it. I notice times are hard for you, KFC. You have Taco Bell crashing on the couch to help with the bills. Final one, I think I diagnosed was Tim Hortons. Definitely an identity crisis with Tim Hortons. Because again, 20 years ago was fine. They sold coffee and donuts. And we never asked them to do anything else. And they flourished and they grew and grew. You couldn't open them fast enough. But then somewhere along the line, Tim Hortons got weird with it. Maybe a bit greedy. Started showing up with shit we never asked it for. Like, hey guys, I got that pulled pork sandwich you've been clamoring after. Who asked you to do that? No one. Oh, check it out, guys. I got poutine. You don't have a deep fryer, Tim Hortons. What are you doing? Well, guys, we got the new Beyond Meat burger. You don't have burgers regular, you dizzy twat. Stay in your lane, Tim Hortons. Which, ironically, is how the real Tim Horton died. He didn't stay in his lane. And, yeah, I know, it's Canada and it's hockey, so it's always too soon. Not on my set. Not when I do comedy. We stack Tim Hortons 6 high when I'm on Zoom doing whatever this is. Fuck yeah. Right on. Yeah, I love this job. I absolutely do. I miss this. I do. Yeah. One thing I don't love about it, or I didn't love about it, was I used to spend a lot of time in comedy drinking. I drank a lot. I was a good time guy in comedy. It's a lot of fun to go on tour with. I'm way more boring now. But yeah, I used to have fun. It's true. I still have fun doing what I love, but I'm not a maniac anymore, which is important, you know, because no one wanted to stop me from drinking too much. I was an alcoholic, but I'm not the kind of alcoholic anyone stops. Because it's like, I'm the kind of guy who I don't get drunk and try to fight you. I get drunk and probably give you more compliments than you deserve. That's the kind of drunk I am. I'm like the guy who orders 4 pizzas, pays for it on his card before it gets there, then falls the fuck asleep so you get more pizza. No one stops that guy from drinking. But I had to scroll back on it because I was drinking at home alone a lot. And you guys are like, oh, Ryan, that's the sad part, right? No, it really isn't. Honestly, I see nothing wrong with it. Still don't. Drinking at home alone is awesome if you like the person you're drinking with, aka you. Pretty fun time, and the math is there too. It's like, yeah, I drink at home alone. Is that sad? Let's look at the metrics. No carbon footprint, no bus, cab, don't drive myself to the bar and, you know, threaten a DUI on the way back. No way. Drink at home alone. I'm totally safe. Look at number 2. I don't bother women. It's huge. Drinking at home alone for the win. You know, it's fucking 2021. I'm a white male comic. I've read the papers. I'm staying home. Number 3, never violent. The only violent thing that ever happened was I fell through my coffee table playing Nintendo Wii. You know, got really into Zelda. Went out the next day, bought a new table, stimulated the local economy. What's wrong with that? You know, drinking home alone rules. But I did realize over time it was sad because I was just drinking way too much, way too early in the day. Like 2 p.m. rolled around and I had polished off a 2.6 of Kettle One vodka and a bunch of Blue Powerade. Why Blue Powerade? Because I come to play. Because when you're a real alcoholic, you know that electrolytes are important. So yeah. So it's 2 p.m, and now I'm all buzzed up, and I'm ready to go chase my favorite thing. And you're like, Ryan, are you booty calling people at 2 p.m? You have no shame, man. Nah, that's not what I chase when I'm drunk. When I'm drunk, I fucking love ice cream, dog. That's what I'm all about. I love ice cream so much when I'm drunk. I'll take a cab home from the bar and like buy 3 Fudgicles at 7-Eleven and then I'll fall asleep only having eaten 2.5 fudgicles. But I don't remember eating the fudgicles the next day when I wake up. But I do know that I have woken up and I'm stuck to my bed in a brown puddle. And then the thought comes to you, oh, it finally happened. And then the secondary thought comes to you, what do you mean it finally happened? You knew about this and you did nothing to stop it? And you're like too scared to taste test it. And you're an alcoholic, so sense of smell is out the window, you dirty piece of shit. So finally you think, oh man, I'm going to have to just quit my job and go to a center or something. And then you see the faint little glimmer of a popsicle stick poking out from underneath your pillow. And you're like, ha, I got it. I'm not a tragic alcoholic who shits the bed. I'm just a tore up drunk who can't track his purchases. I win. I win. So anyhow, it's 2 PM and I want some ice cream. So I call a cab and I take it to Dairy Queen. And by the time I get to Dairy Queen, I realize it's not cost effective for me to get my favorite thing, a large dipped cone, and just bounce. Because meter's at like $17. So I'm going to have to make it worth my trip and get like at least 2 treats. So I'm leaning out the back of the window in the drive-thru, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a large dip cone, and give me a peanut butter. Okay, give me a peanut butter. Fuck. Give me a peanut butter. So drunk. Okay. Give me an ice cream cake. And this is pre-COVID. You couldn't get those from the drive-thru so easy. The kid at the drive-thru is like, you can't order an ice cream cake from the drive-thru. And I'm so tore up, I get completely defensive about the wrong thing. I'm like, I'm not driving. Totally mistaking the conversation that we're having. So after a while, he explains to me what's happening. And then he pulls around and I go inside. And now the meter is jacked way up. Because guess which psychopath decides to personalize his cake? This guy standing across from some poor kid holding a shaking icing bag like, yo, make it to Ryan. From Ryan. Hey. By the way, I'm Ryan. And I can see in his eyes, I go back in time to that moment, and that kid was so scared because he was a DQ kid, you know, and I was treating him like a McDonald's late night kid. You know, a McDonald's late night kid can understand and stand up to that level of stress. This DQ kid I'm harassing still believes in God. You know what I mean? He's having a tough time with my demands. So then, but he does a great job. To Ryan from Ryan. And now the cake is sitting on my lap, and I've sat in the front seat of the cab, because that's just how drunk I am. Now it's time to make a new friend. And so the cab driver looks at the cake in my lap and goes, oh, birthday? And I look at him completely stone-faced, just no. And now I've scared a cab driver, which is harder to do than a DQ employee. So I got that cake home. I laid on my couch. I cut a piece. I put it on a plate. I put the plate on my chest. And I just fell the fuck asleep on my couch. And woke up in the morning, stuck to my couch in $80 worth of ice cream. And that would have been my rock bottom if the best part, the cookie and the fudge, wasn't totally still intact on my chest. So I ate it out of my chest there and made it into work for 8:30. That's my tale of redemption. Okay. Well, this has been fun. I've always been kind of, I don't know, people have called me stupid because of my voice or like weird because of ideas or whatever. But I was recently called one of the worst things you can be called in Canadian prison. Do you guys out there in Zoomland know what it is? It's a goof. You ever hear that? Somebody call someone a goof? Fucking goof. That's in prison. Prepare to die. Call someone a goof. You're going to throw down. My theory is because they used all the bad stuff up. You know what I mean? All the C words and F words and, you know, stuff. They just ran through all of that. And then now we're back to goof. Like time is a flat circle kind of thing, you know? Back to goof. And the way I found out goof was a really bad word in Canadian prison, I don't mean to brag, but I got into an altercation at a Tim Hortons. That's right. I ordered the last maple glazed donut. You know, how all good fights start. And I hear from behind me in line, oh, that's my favorite. But it's not with like an upwards inflection at the end, like, oh, that's my favorite. We can share. It's like, oh, that's my favorite. So I turn around, and this guy has spider webs tattooed on his eyelids. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I can't part with these. Like, we'll see about that. I'm about to pay you double what you just paid for that donut. And I'm like, well, that is still just $1.90. So, no. And I guess it's the way I said it. Suddenly something in his body changes. I shouldn't have been so sarcastic because I can tell he's about to call me something that's going to ruin my whole day, whiten my hair, and spoil Tim Hortons for everyone. But what comes out is, yeah? Well, you're a goof. You're a goof. And I was like, well, what the fuck are we doing here? Okay, you're a silly Billy. Sir, you're a real dingus. Do I win? I didn't win. He hit me with one of those TVs they show the donuts on. It's nice being in front of you guys. It's kind of a weird setup, but all the same, it's kind of like, this just makes sense. This feels good now. I think every time I watch TV now, and I see that close-up of people shaking, like, anyone else notice that in movies now when they go up for the handshake? The camera operator always has that one shot on the handshake where their hands clasp. Every time that happens, I'm like, oh, fuck, turn it off. I can't watch this anymore. It's a new, everybody, is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to leave you guys with one about, I've been called weird a lot, as I mentioned before. I was the kind of kid who, like, was kind of strange. Kind of kid you couldn't play Ouija board with. Yeah, not because I was into Ouija. It was the opposite. It's because whenever I played Ouija board with other kids, the ghost always seemed to say, make your mom order a pizza. And then kids would get really mad. They'd be like, Ryan, you're cheating. You're moving it with your hands. I'm like, I am not. Now order a pizza and appease the malevolent spirit. Then we can get back to your questions, Connor. Like, which girls at school have a crush on you? You've been asking the ghost that for 3 goddamn months. That's not even how ghosts work. If you ever got a real ghost on the other end of the line, you're looking for God, Connor. God knows who has a crush on you. Regular ghosts don't know shit. It's just a regular jack-off like you or me who died. There's no pool of knowledge shared amongst ghosts. They just go to the grave with what they had upstairs when they died. That's ghost rules. I'm not negotiable on that. If you ever got a real ghost on the other end of the line, the ghost would be like, I have no idea who has a crush on you, Connor. I died in 1913 in a coal mining accident. So, do you have any questions about coal mining safety? I can answer all but a couple. Which it turns out are very important. Thanks, that's a really weird joke. People come up to me after shows and they're like, Ryan, there are darker forces at work in this world than you would care to acknowledge. And maybe, just maybe, the Ouija board is the way to commune with them. And I'm like, yeah, I'd be more inclined to believe that if that motherfucker wasn't made by Hasbro. You know them, right? That's the company that makes Hungry Hungry Hippos and Monopoly. That's a weird assembly line. In the morning, you make Monopoly. And in the afternoon, you make a conduit to hell. It's a weird day when you accidentally put the wrong parts into the wrong box and QA fails. Little Billy's playing Hungry Hungry Hippos, gobbling down marbles, having the time of his young life. Out of nowhere, the green one pipes up, completely unmanned, and goes, Billy, this is your grandpa. All right, that's the end of me. Thank you so much for tuning in to the K4 live stream. You're an awesome audience. See you again. Ted Tilly, everybody.
Am I back? You're going to hear me? Sweet. I'm going to talk about the companies in the back and how this was possible for a bit. And I don't know if we have the link, but what we wanted to do, So I kind of wanted to switch up the model a little bit to try and get these guys paid a little bit, was by asking friends of mine to give me they each gave me $20,000 for this. So these guys are making a lot of money. I mean, they are just rolling in cash now. The easiest people to pay that bill were obviously the lumber company. Yeah, that's not weird. How much you charging for a 2x4 these days, Jamie? Jamie's my brother-in-law, owns Glenora Lumber. Him and his sister Carrie. Yeah, they don't pick the prices of the 2x4s. They're not very happy about it. And then we'll look, Christopher Keith Holmes, beautiful renovations. Good buddy of mine, very funny. We'll get him up here one day. Probably not. He's too scared. Check him out on Oilers Nation podcast, though. Ewell, you need electrical wholesale parts. These guys have stuff. They do. Green Bee Boutique, good friend of ours, Katrina Skareko. She just started an online company selling like stuff that's nice for the earth or whatever. If you do laundry as much as I do a whole bunch of laundry. They've got some laundry strips they deliver right to your door, any city. She just doesn't charge for delivery. She's losing tons of money. She'll love it. Aircom, the Amigos and my best buddy at Aircom, they, if you need like pressure or temperature sensors or whatever, like most people do, they'll hook you up with those. Absolutely no problem. You know, that's where you can get them. The ranch, I was just like, look, give me some golf passes so I don't feel so bad about bombing out here. And they're like, yeah. And so I'm really excited to use those. If you want to come golfing with me, you know, let's do it. Please come. All Glass Parts, same thing as electrical wholesalers. They just sell stuff with glass in it or something. They give bags of shards of glass to their consumers and little kids for Leo to play with shards of glass. So he's really hooking it up there. If you're a company in Edmonton and you have social media needs, Gerald at Newman Media is awesome. So check them out. And Orion Plastics behind my big buddy Steve. This guy makes plastic rectangles better than anybody in history, and he just dominates at it. So if you need a huge, giant piece of plastic, call Steve, and he'll deliver it right to your door. And then we see my boy Dale Temple. So that's my assistant's husband, and he is just selling everybody's house like for way undervalue. So he's just dominating the real estate market right now, probably making like $450 million this year. Good for you, Dale. And then you'll see Modern Advisor. So we've partnered at K4 with Modern Advisor, and they were nice enough to obviously sponsor the event. They've been great to us, and we're really excited about working with them. YEG Pro Realty and the team, the We Are YEG team, that Jesse McCracken's another realtor that is a really good friend of ours. We don't use her personally because Dale and I have a deal where we like to look at each other and like high five when we can touch and stuff. And so he sells houses for me. And then Evangeline at the Mortgage Group, she's awesome. So her details will be in the bottom. And then some of my favorite restaurants in the city. So if you want to sit down on a beautiful patio, best burgers in the city at the Next Act Pub. And then meat if you want smoked meat. And then right next door at Pip is a beautiful date night. Once we can get back out, going to restaurants, please go there. These guys are awesome. And right now, before the Oiler game, I know they're not watching, but the boys at Oodle Noodle and Oilers Nation, there's delivery and takeout there. So thank everyone so much. We're so thankful that you guys did that. I think there's a link for the food bank. I thought, okay, if these guys are sponsoring the event and then Infinite Events is putting it on, maybe if you want to click on the link and support people at the Edmonton Food Bank, that'd be fantastic. Anything would help. I know it's a really tough time, so we just thought, what can we do to help the comedians that are just poorer than usual? because these guys never make good money. Even in the best of times, these guys are like, Kent, can I have 50 cents? And I'm like, sure, here's $1. Like, I mean, I guess I'm just, no, but so please support everyone. And I'll just bring up the next comedian. This guy's one of the best guys in Edmonton. And truth be told, we all know that he's supposed to be the one. And he does kind of look like Jesus. So that helps too. This guy might be the one. Charles Haycock, everyone.
All right. Thank you, Kent. Give it up for Kent one more time. Kent Tilley, getting the community going. I appreciate you guys being here and listening to some jokes. If you are muted, feel free to unmute. It's kind of nice on this side to have a bit of a response, but otherwise, I'm well trained in the silence now as well. So I got that silence confidence. You know what I mean? I don't need reactions anymore. But yeah, I went to Walmart yesterday. And today I go every day, and just watch my people. But you know, like when you get to the end, there's like the cashier always says, "Hey, did you find everything you're looking for?" And I'm always like, "What would you do about it?" Like, actually, I'm here because I gave up. Where were you when I needed you? Even if I said no, what are you going to say? Oh, that sucks. Is that credit or debit? I'm like, cash, all nickels. Have fun, you know? Because when you're in the aisles, nobody's helping you. You might run into one teenager avoiding eye contact. And then you're like, hey, where's the beans? And he's like, oh, yeah. Let's go see. No, I don't need a buddy. I'm not assembling a search party. I need one answer, you know? And then he goes to his friend, "Hey, do you know where the beans are?" And then that kid's like, oh man, I could use some beans. Join our squad? I don't know. Now we're just strolling through Walmart. 3 young lads. Why do they hide all the wise old ladies until the end when it's too late? And they already took your money for compromised choices. I didn't want to buy raw potatoes with barbecue sauce. I just couldn't find the chips version of that. So I'm on plan B. Last thing I bought at Walmart is I bought a cheese grater a while ago. And then I don't know why, because do you know what else you can buy there? Grated cheese. I've never used it. Actually, one time I did use the cheese graters when I just put the grated cheese through the cheese grater to see if it would fit. And it did. And that was satisfying. If you have OCD, that's heroin right there. Back and forth all day. That's what I like to do. You know, some people say that the pupil is only as good as his teacher, but I always said that the pupil is the part in your eye in the middle. That's my best joke. Thank you. From here on out. Now we're in the denouement now. That was the climax of the show. I got some weird friends. My one friend, he told me, you know, to live off grid, I just need some land, a rainwater collector, and solar panels. I said, you sound like you want to become a plant. Are your feet growing roots? That's a tumor. You need a doctor, buddy. This guy, my friend's name is Sky, and and he's got a brother named Tree, and then another brother named River, and then his oldest brother is named Dave. That's bully predestination right there. Some people get bullied at school, and they did. But they also got bullied at home by Dave, who had a much easier life. Do you guys think maybe there's a naked guy in a jungle somewhere right now, and he's saying to his friend, hey, you know what? I would really like to live on grid. I want to try roads. And maybe we could try inside. I've already tried outside, but I met this lady one time, and she said she didn't give birth at a hospital. I said, "Oh, a home birth?" And then she said, "Nope." And then she said that she gave birth, in a river, under the trees, under the sky. And I was like, I've met those locations. That's who you are. Now I know the story. But then I was like, wait, but what about Dave? What's his story? Is that who was around when he came out? You're just like, excuse me, taxi driver. What nameth they thee? Do you guys think beauty is in the eye of the beholder? Or maybe the pupil is in the eye in the middle? Okay, I'm just recycling jokes. That's not fair, really. Man, I back in the day, I think last year I was still doing a couple, kind of in-person gigs, all the way from Lethbridge to Slave Lake, and I always ask those people what they. In Lethbridge, I asked this guy, "Hey, what do you do for fun?" And he said, "Oh, I usually go dark mode." And then I learned that's what they call when you drink so much it goes black. Sometimes light mode gets real sad, so I go dark mode and time flies by. You wake up, you're somewhere else. It's an adventure. But then it's hard in the small towns, for example, to find love. So I thought of this app idea to help them out. My idea, it's basically a mix between Tinder and Ancestry. Because sometimes you just want to know, Sometimes you want to double check. That's what I'll call it, double check. And make sure your family tree doesn't get skinnier on the way down. It's not supposed to be a palm tree. You want a match, not a genetic match. That's my motto. But then maybe you're thinking, Charles, but at what number of cousin does that cousin become an option to start a family? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I think the higher the number, the maybe worse. Imagine someone comes up to you, hey, we should, because it's cool. I'm just your brother's uncle, sister's, niece's, sister's uncle, the daughter. I'm like, oh. And you're also a nerd. How much homework did that take? Get me a second cousin that isn't weird. These are important questions in the times we're living in, We're all probably going to join a Hutterite colony pretty soon. Right when they put in the curfews. I'm not going to bed at 7. I'm going to become a Mennonite. They don't got rules there, Well, they do, but actually, now I've just dug myself into a weird thought place. I don't know. Do you want arranged marriage or do you want curfew? What else should we talk about? Anyone have a suggestion? No, it's good to see some faces, even though you guys aren't here in person. It is live, and that does make it feel a bit more real. It's like we're not in the Matrix, but there is a bit of delay. But we're not fully taking those pills yet. I like technology a lot though, because mainly I tried VR gaming, virtual reality, and then it was crazy. I put on the headset and instantly I was like, whoa, this is so realistic, you know? And then I played for 3 whole hours. It was really fun. Then I took off the headset and then I was like, whoa, this is the one. This one is realistic. What is this, regular reality? It's like when you take off a boot after a full day of skiing. You're like, oh, just a sock? Oh, man, I'm rocking just a sock from now on. This is so me, you know? That's what you do if you're not grateful. Then you just go do something worse for a while. And you come back. If you're mad at your family, then just go and watch a whole season of Maury. And then come back like, hey, you guys, you're pretty good. You know, Jeff is our dad. And we know that. And that's what I like, is that we don't get tested. And he's our dad. We have the same nose, I'm pretty sure. The problem is the game was so fun. I wanted to keep playing. But like, you can't do murder in real life. But then but in the game you can feel everything. Each finger, wrapping around a steering wheel, and you can just drive and like follow a family and to their home maybe, and then you maybe take your hands and wrap it around someone's neck. And it's like, well, I'm supposed to never do that again? But why did you give me a thirst? I don't give a kid a joint to smoke and then say, hey, don't do that again because it gets better. It will feel more real next time. You know? I used to be a kid and I saw a lot of yield signs growing up, so now I tend to slow down as I eat a Dorito. I've been doing some things to pass time. I bought a fish, and so now it's not in the ocean. It lives in a tank, which it's not used to. So what I did is I just threw in a chocolate wrapper and a can to recreate its natural habitat. Just like home, right, buddy? You want me to pour a little oil on top? Every day I turn up the temperature by 1 degree. I watch ice cubes melt, you know. So yeah, so that fish died. It is dead. And boy, is it fun to play God. My first extinction. My one friend said, "That's mean. You can't take animals out of the wild, put them in a box." I said, "Don't worry, this one wouldn't have made it in the wild because I tested. I made sure." I have this one game I like to play where I wear old ladies' perfume, and then I go outside in the public and I watch everyone try to find an old lady. Sometimes they come right up to me. They say, "Have you seen Meredith or Elizabeth or April?" I love those names. You know, the older people names, the Walters and the Junes, because they made it. You know, there's a reason you never hear an 80-year-old named Kyle. They don't get that far. Bad things happen first for the Kyles. It's weird. You can name your kid anything now. Like you could name your kid Skitty Pop Pop. And then the other thing is you could spell it like Steve. And then get mad at people when they say it wrong. Man, one time I met this girl, her name was Sarah, and she's like, "But it's spelled with a Z and an O." I said, "No, your name is Zorro." So where's your cape, you know? Hurry up, you Spanish Robin Hood. It's weird, but I got other games too. There's just one game I like to play after I cut my toenails called Where Did They Go? Why do they do that? Imagine cutting a cucumber and it becomes missing and invisible. Hey man, where's the salad? I don't know. Let's get on all fours and find it by touch. That's where we're at. I drive around and a lot of people have stickers. I get worried about the baby on board stickers because can we not make it easier for predators? You know, to find. How about baby not on board? How about this van is filled with feral raccoon sticker? And they have rabies. I'm going to protect my family. I'll have a sticker on the back. It'll just be one dude and some guns and medication. And the windows will be cardboard. You know, no one will speak with my family. That's my technique. It's weird the family events I grew up doing. Like, isn't it weird we go on picnics? We say, hey, let's try being homeless for 2 hours. And then after we're like, wasn't for me. How do you think homeless people feel? They're like, look at these people showing up with their clean blankets, not doing a sleepover. You know, they're not committed. Sometimes I go to the park, I see someone, I think, man, are they on a picnic or is this the first day on the streets? It's always how it starts. Before this show, I listened to rap music, you know, to get really jacked up and bring the energy. But then I talked to Kent for like 2 minutes and my energy came right back down. Kent will cancel out a Red Bull. He is that potent, you know. But I listened to this song and the rapper, he was like, don't care about no haters. I just bought a Lambo. But I think you do care because you bought a Lamborghini to show you're cool. Because if you didn't care, maybe you would have bought a tractor to drive on the highway. Those people don't care. If you cover both lanes going 30 down the freeway, you in fact create more haters to immediately not care about. You just line them up right behind you. Like, if you really want to show you don't care, I want to see this guy go spend a whole day in a wheelchair and then just stand up sometimes. And look people in the eyes, you know? If he doesn't care about anything, I want to see that man wear a turban with a yarmulke on top. And then they both say, make America great again. And then he goes and lives in China. That would prove that you are a gangster, for real. All these fake rappers nowadays, you know. But a few weeks ago, I had this day where I was sad, and then my friend, he told me, hey, Charles, you should get a hobby. And do you ever do that? You're having a hard time, and your friend's like, hey, you know what would help you? Is if you did a tiny little activity. Hey, you know what cures depression? It's doing something sometimes that you're not even good at, you know? Hey, what's that? Your relationship's riddled with infidelity? Just make a quilt, bruh. Grab some old jeans and get a crotch blanket going. You know, make visitors sleep underneath. It's just, I tried anyways. I was like, okay, I'll go to the golfing place. And then as soon as I got there, though, this guy said, hey, what's your handicap? And I said, hey, man, I think it's undiagnosed. But if you have ideas, I have ears. And then he said, no, what's your golf handicap to see if we're a good match? I said, well, the fact that you know what that means no. I'm just here for the go-karting part of this sport. But I think I did okay because I went in with 10 balls and I came out with 10 balls. Also, I found 17 balls. I cured my handicap by swimming in a pond. That's all it took. Then I asked this guy, hey man, why do you golf? You know, and he said, because my wife doesn't. You know, I think that's what hobby means. It's just like doing something with only other guys. It's like straight guys wanted to invent a word that means hanging out with guys that doesn't sound gay, but it kind of is. I want to try one more hobby though. I want to try knitting because that one you can kind of just do absolutely wherever. My mom used to get mad at kids. Hey kids, put the phones away. We have company. And then I'd always be like, put the phone away. Grandma's been making a left sleeve for 3 hours. You think she heard a single word you said? She doesn't give a shit. You could go anywhere. You could be at a funeral and just start making socks. And people would just be like, yeah, that's what he does. We mourn the death of loved ones. He gets a head start on an itchy sweater. You can't do that with other hobbies. You can't be at dinner and then uncle starts a boring story and you're like, okay, well, I think it's parkour time. So let's see what this couch is made of. So yeah, I'll try that. And family's great, you know, because you hang out with people that you wouldn't choose to. And my one cousin, you ever have someone say, hey, not to brag, and then he proceeds to brag? Yeah. My cousin was like, hey, not to brag, but I did win the provincial bowling championships. I said, hey, man, you said not to brag, and then you didn't, but you gave it a shot. Winning a bowling award is like eating your placenta. Keep it to yourself. We don't care about the nutritional value, you know. That's a private matter. I can't say too much, though, because one year I won the provincial yo-yo award. So, hey, guess how many yo-yo championships do you have to win to earn the respect of your peers? More than all of them. That's the number that I figured out. I got a couple more here, but thanks again for coming. And Tilly Crew, you guys got a real nice backyard. I like to work on that shed, whoever built that. Chris Palmers, you got a very nice couch. If you need to sell it one day, I'll buy it off you on Kijiji. Thank you, Tim and Anne-Marie. Is that a penthouse suite? Very, very great, good audience here. And I have a feeling this next joke might be a bit, hey, it might be a bit weird, but anyone take the bus here tonight? To where, anyone still taking the bus in their day-to-day? All right, a bunch of rich assholes. It's all good. Might just have to use your imagination. But you guys ever know, do you know at the front of the bus they have like a rack to put your bike? It's like for when you want to ride your bike but also give up. And so I was giving up one day, and I put my bike on the bus, and then I got on the bus, but then I forgot about my bike. Until 3 hours later, I was like, oh no, my bicyclette. Some guy, he actually pointed it out. He's like, hey, why are you wearing a helmet? And then I realized it. And then I kind of just got mad at first because we were inside. Like if you're in a building and you're wearing a helmet, and someone sees you at that point, isn't it rude to ask? If I'm in Walmart and I see someone wearing snorkels and water wings, I don't go up to them like, why are you the way that you are? I know there's no water nearby. I also know those issues are deeper than a lake could go. But I tried to get the bike back. It didn't work. Transit company, they don't care. But fast forward a little while, I had this old rusted bicycle that needed disposal. So what I did is I just put the bike on the bus, and then I got on the bus, and then I got off the bus. Ultimate free disposal. I throw everything away via bus now. It's way more fun. Just got to put it in a bicycle shape. One time the driver even tried to stop me. He said, hey, you forgot your bike. I'm like, oh, no. Can't reach it. Don't you guys hate it when your grandma gets sushi all over your knitting sticks? The end for me. You guys are going to love Sean, and give it up for Kent one more time. Thank you, guys.
Charles Haycock, everybody, is hilarious. I told you he's the one. I talked for too long, so I'll probably just bring Sean up, and we're PVRing the game, and we want to go and watch it. Watch me, so. I mean, maybe Sarah will get mad at me. I'll tell the one joke. You're not allowed to tell, like, as a comedian, people come up to you after shows all the time, and they're like, let me tell you a joke, and then they'll tell you what we call a street joke. That is like a joke you would tell to your friends, and they're usually really racist and really inappropriate, and we're supposed to like pretend to laugh, but they're never funny. But I'm going to try and tell one and see if it's funny anyway. Years and years ago, I got pulled over by a cop, and he was like, look, we're backing up traffic here, so Kent, if you can tell me a joke, I'll let you off with a warning. And I was like, this is perfect, because I'm a comedian, and I don't know any of these jokes, but I remember one that my cousin told me that is awesome. So I was like, yeah, I've got one. And I looked at him, I was like, there's two cats on one side of the river, and one of the cats' name is 123, and the other cat's name is 1, 2, 3. And I'm like, which cat got to the other side of the river first? And just like, you guys, he's looking at me, and he's like, I don't know, and I don't really give a shit. And I was like, well, I mean, 1, 2, 3 did, because 1, 2, 3 cat sank. And he went back to his car and gave me a ticket anyways. So thank you guys very much for like almost laughing at a joke I did in makeup. I'm very happy to introduce one of my best buddies and one of my favorite comedians in the entire world, and just happy to have you see him, Sean Lacombe, everybody.
Thanks, Kent. Great job. Hey, everybody. That's called comedy sabotage, what Kent just did to me. He purposely did the best joke ever written right before he brought me on to make me look like a piece of shit. Well, it's not going to work, Tilly. I'm bringing it. I've been vaccinated, everybody. That's right. Johnson & Johnson, so not the greatest. Feeling a little cloddy. Feeling a little cloddy tonight. I don't know if it's going to work out, but it's great to be here. What a thrill. COVID, what a time. Got to find a job. I haven't worked a regular job in 15 years, so I have a bit of a gap on the old resume. 15 years without doing anything. So I've got good references. I had Brent Butt. I worked with Brent Butt one time, so he's a reference. I have fucking Brent Butt as a reference. And that he's, he just got janitorial companies calling him like, I get it, he's funny, but can he lift 30 pounds repeatedly? Do you believe that Sean Lacomber can lift 30 pounds repeatedly? But it's been a fun time, hasn't it? Pandemic living, I've enjoyed it. We love Canada. Canada, that's when it first happened. It was strange, wasn't it? Because it was happening over there, and as Canadians, we're used to that. We're used to things happening over there, somewhere else, some other place. We're not used to it here in Canada, right? That's the good thing about Canada, is bad things don't really happen here. That's really what it is. If you ask people what's great about Canada, they would say something stupid like, it's all the wide open spaces. But if those wide open spaces were filled with famine, disease, and war, Canada would be a shithole. So it's really just about nothing bad ever happening, I'll tell you, I'm a stay-at-home dad. That's my job. Thank you. That felt nice. Nobody really gave a shit. Not one single person cared. It's funny, if you say stay-at-home mom, everybody's like, that is the hardest job in the world. Give her a lot of respect. That is so difficult. If you say stay-at-home dad, people are like, what are you, lazy? Just some jerk off? This guy makes her work? What a loser. Get a job. This guy does a load of laundry and goes back to sleep. What a loser. What an idiot. I did a show where I said I was a stay-at-home dad, and the lady in the front row was like, well, you're not there now. Yeah, and people chuckled, kind of like that. I was like, yeah, but if I was a stay-at-home mom, you'd be like, good for you getting out. You deserve a break. Yeah, let your stupid husband deal with it. You work hard, Kathy. You earn this. Drink your wine, honey. Get those purple teeth going. You're a beautiful woman. There's nowhere I can go in town and get respect as a stay-at-home dad. Like, if I go to the pool with my kids, there's always one mom at the pool looking at me like, oh, look, just a man here with children by himself. That's actually quite dangerous. Yeah, there's water here. You know what I like to do to freak moms out at the pool? I'll put my kids' water wings on their legs. You know what I mean? And just wait for a mom to run over. Like, that's dangerous. Those are for arms. And I'm like, oh, that's how the other two died. I did not know that. Well, they died doing what they loved. You know what I mean? Upside down swimming. Kicking hard till the bubble stopped. That's pretty... I didn't even do comedy pre-COVID. I didn't. I just picked it up. I had to, I was on CERB, and I'm like, what can I do full-time and stay under the $1,000 threshold? And it came back, mall kiosk or professional comedian. And I thought, you know what? I fucking hate kiosks. I'm going to tell jokes to a guy named Tim Lancaster. Just sitting on a beautiful leather sectional, one seat away from a friend. Very well spaced. Very well spaced. Like pre-COVID, I thought what I needed to do was spend more time with my family. Turns out that was false. That was incorrect. I was spending the perfect amount of time with my family. We've spent so much time together that even our laughter pisses each other off. I hear my wife laughing, and I'm like, shut your mouth. What the hell's bringing her joy? I wish she'd shut up. I wish she'd shut the hell up. What have you been doing during your pandemic? I've been doing home renos, mostly. I shouldn't be. I don't know how to do them. My record for trips to Home Depot in one day during the pandemic was 7. All for screws. Every one of them was for screws. They were wrong each time, but after the 7th, I buried him in the wood in tears. Trying to build a birdhouse. I like going to Home Depot because the only option for who to talk to at a Home Depot is old guy or young guy. That's it. A 93-year-old man in the back or a 12-year-old boy up front. Who do you want to talk to? A 93-year-old on a gurney down in the plumber's aisle? And you'd think you'd want to talk to the old guy first, right? Because he's got the experience. But what he wants to do is humiliate you through the process of not knowing the name of the parts you need. That's how he gets off. He wants to make you feel like a loser. The kid is better for your ego, but his hope for your shopping outcome is that you go to a different Home Depot the next time. He doesn't really care about your life. You know? So I go to the old guy first, and I was like, excuse me, Victor, you see that kitchen in the middle of your store, that demo? I'd love to build a kitchen like that at my house. And he just looks at me and he goes, how big's your kitchen? And I'm like, I don't really know. I just came here with a dream. I saw your commercial, and you guys said I could do it. And that you could help me to do it. And then he just goes, not you, you loser. Get out of here. Beat it. So he leaves. He's gone. Old Vic. He runs down the plumbing aisle. I just stand there. And then he looks at me and he goes, get over here, you loser. And I've been trained by my grandparents that when an old person calls me a loser, I run to them. I don't know why. It's just something I learned from old people when I was a kid, you know? So then I go up to the kid, and I'm like, excuse me, little guy. You see that kitchen in the middle of your store? I think that would look really good where I live. And he goes, yeah, that would look good. And I'm like, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that would look good. And he goes, why don't we take a peek? Why don't we look around? Just me and you. And I'm like, I'd love that. That's all I've ever wanted when I come to a Home Depot is just me and an employee taking a peek. Just us two. I'm really bad at finding things. So we're looking, me and this infant. 15 minutes go by. We haven't found anything. Nothing's happened. He panics. He looks at a shelf and goes, maybe that. And I'm like, yeah, maybe that. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that is what I need. 1 being that's totally wrong. What number would you put on it? And he's like, a 5. And I'm like, do you work here? And he goes, dude, you're 40, I'm 12. I was kind of hoping you'd take a leadership role in the search, given how much older you are than I am. But apparently you've learned nothing in the extra 30 years of life you've had. So I leave with all this kid's guess purchases, you know, a cart filled with infant guesses. I get home, none of it fits. It's all wrong. I go back to the Home Depot an hour later. The kids at the front door are like, yeah, I knew you'd be back. Those are wrong, what we got. And I'm like, yeah, we could have talked about that when I was here about an hour ago. And he's like, yeah, I didn't know then, but the old guy was watching us the whole time. He really thinks you're a piece of shit. He was hiding behind the fridges, laughing at both of us. Edmonton, what a town. It really is beautiful. There's a lot of road rage here. Friendly people outside of the vehicle, not in. Soon as we get in our trucks, there's some rage that happens. Have you noticed that? It's a little bit weird. Like I got, you know, I don't know. Like sometimes, because I'm from Fort Saskatchewan, so I'm a tourist when I come to Edmonton. So, you know, there's times when I'll be like in the wrong lane. I'll be like, oh, this lane is slow. I'm going to get in the free flow right lane. And then I drive down a bit and then I'm like, oh, this lane ends. That sucks. I bet everybody in that other lane already knew that. And that's why they stayed over there. And then I'm like, oh, well, at least people of Edmonton are friendly. They'll probably let me merge back in to that lane. And I put my little blinker on, all filled with hope. And they all drive by like, no, die there. Die in that lane. You've made your decision. Live with your decisions. I don't even work today. I'm 20 minutes early for a haircut, but die in that lane. You stupid idiot. I'm going to stay an inch away from the bumper in front of me, risking death to both of us to make sure that you can't bust back in on me. I'm, you know. And I have passive-aggressive road rage. That's my road rage. I was stopped at a four-way stop, and this guy stopped coming the other way at the exact same moment. So we have this weird tension building, right? Who's going to go first? Nobody knows. Then he gives me a wave, which is normally friendly when you get a wave, but his wave was fast, like that fast. Yeah, like I'm stupid. Like I should have gone already. Gave me the old quick wave. So, you know, so I saw that and I was like, nope, not going anywhere. Not on that. Not going anywhere on that, you prick. Why don't you go, Johnny Quick Wave? Well, you do. Now we're both doing it. We can both do that. Now we're doing it. There you go. It hurts, but I did it. I kept doing that hard. People behind me honking. I don't care. This is a war. I intend to win this. Then he jerks forward like he's the winner. No, you're not. So I jerked in front of his vehicle to let him know this is still a game. And then we got into like the slowest car accident ever, just kind of veered into each other. Yeah, but he was in a BMW, I was in a Camry, so I win. That's how that works. Just drive the shittiest car on the road. It's weird. I don't know if I had like a, I don't know if I had a nervous breakdown or a midlife. It's hard having a midlife crisis with no money. It really is. It's a tough, you know, if you have a midlife crisis and you're a lawyer, you're like, I'm going to get a Corvette, you know? If you don't have any money, you just sit in your garage and your kids pass you soup under the door. You know, you just sit in your Tercel and think of reasons not to turn it on with the door closed. Anyways, that was, I guess that was, I don't know if everybody shut their mics off at the same time or if that joke failed. I'm going to pretend it didn't. I'm going to pretend that the people were like, oh, that's fun. I don't know. It's great to be here. I'd stay with my, I don't know if you guys, did anybody hear of a dad? By a round of applause. Tilly crew, they got it. Yeah, everybody. Dads are fun. My dad just turned 71. You know, they say enjoy your youth. What you should enjoy is all the years you have in your life before your parents reach an age where they need you for things every day. Those are the years I took for granted. You know, I thought my dad would take care of himself for life. And then one day he called me up and I realized I was the boss now. You know, he calls me and he's like, Sean, I just got an email from CIBC. I owe them $1 million. Take me to the branch. And I'm like, Dad, it's just, it's a scam. Relax. And he goes, no, it's a email right into my inbox from CIBC.7891238 at ju.co. This is legit. I told your mother we were in overdraft too long, and now I owe these pricks $1 million. Take me to the branch. The branch. That's where he thinks banking happens, you know? So I have to take this old weirdo to the branch with a printed email. Yeah, looks like a ransom note from the 70s. And my brother's the one that screwed my dad up. My dad did not need technology. He would have been fine without it. You know, just watching Coronation Street in the corner. But my brother got him a smartphone, so now he can text for the first time in his life, but every text he sends reads like an old war letter. You know? It's like, Dear Sean and family, hope this text message finds you well. It's cold here on the front lines at Sobeys. I'm like, just get the buns. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you know this, but kids think old people are stupid. They do. Not stupid, but like kids look at an old lady pecking away at a tablet and, you know, just like a monkey with a computer, and they're like, is there something wrong with her? Why doesn't she understand the world? Like, my kids see my dad's texts, and they're like, is Grandpa stupid? Look at how long those are. And I'm like, he's not stupid. He's 71. That's what he is. Like, I'm 43. I'm old enough to remember a time when all the information we have on our phones that we hold dear to our heart, all that information used to be on the outside of our fridge. That's where we kept it. You know, contact numbers, calendars, phone numbers, addresses, right on the outside of your fridge. And I told my kids that, and they're like, that's the stupidest thing I've heard in my life. And I'm like, yeah, well, guess what? You never lost your fridge. You know what I mean? You never panicked in your kitchen. Like, where's it? Oh, by the oven. Phew. I thought I lost my fridge. Never accidentally dropped your fridge in a toilet like son of a bitch. Now I got to put this in a giant bag of rice for 3 weeks. Just hope it keeps things cold afterwards. And old people don't like kids. It's a two-way street. Old people look at kids and go, look at these losers. That's not... You hit, I think it's a certain age. You get to be... I think you turn about 50, and once you turn about 50, you just start to resent people with tight skin who can move freely. You know? Any tight-skinned loser out there without arthritis just pisses you off. Some guy, the only pills he takes don't have his name on the bottle. That kind of loser. You know? Grow up. But it's fine. Old people don't like kids. It's like we think that we didn't misbehave when we were young. That's what it is. You age and you edit the movie of your life and you cut out all the bad things you did so you can stay the hero in your own story. You know? Like I learned that about myself because I saw this guy at the park and I was like, hey, hey, weren't we friends in junior high? And he's like, yeah, in grade 8, we used to throw rocks at people. And I was like, nope, I never threw rocks at anybody. And he's like, yeah, we'd hide in a tree and throw rocks at them. And I'm like, nope. I remember I used to help people up off the street who were bleeding sometimes. And he's like, yeah, but first you threw rocks at them. How'd you forget the horrible part? I don't know. Comedian, what else can you do? I guess I could be a veterinarian, possibly. That doesn't take long, does it? I don't know about you guys. We always bitch about lawyers and doctors. Nobody ever bitches about veterinarians. We let them off the hook. No, not anymore. Not tonight. Veterinarians are the most overpriced shit. You know what I mean? It pisses me off. Because when I was a kid, our animals went to the vet once. The last time. Goodbye time. That was it. We didn't have enough money for a living animal vet bill. Are you out of your goddamn mind? We couldn't return with an animal that has ADHD meds we need to pump into him every Tuesday. We didn't have that kind of cash. But now that I have children and animals, my children have told me that these animals are now my family members. Members of my family. Family. So I got to take Uncle Fuzzy. We got his cat with a limp, right? So my kids are like, we got to take him in. And I'm like, yep, I guess we do. Or we could cut the legs off the couch so we could still hop up. Why the hell do we have to do this? So we go to the vet, and the lady looks at the cat and goes, I'd like to do some blood work and an x-ray. That's $2,300, but you don't have to do it if you don't love your animal. And my kids are there, and I'm like, I hate this woman. I hate her. I have to do it. I max out my credit card, take out all my K4 cash and give it to this lady. The next day she calls me, and she's like, well, the blood work came back clear. And I'm like, well, what a load off. That's a load off. Because I was worried about his memory T cell count, And then she goes, he has a hairline fracture in his front leg, but we don't really do anything for that. And I'm like, that's fantastic news. That's the best. Because now I have a $2,000 picture of a cat skeleton for my man cave. Can finally put the finishing touch on my Oiler room with a $2,000 cat skeleton fucking photograph. I think the reason I hate vets so much is I feel like it's the only job in the medical profession that I could do reputably for a year without anybody knowing I was a fraud. I could just open one up in Leduc at a strip mall called Shawnee's Pets. Just have some cheap rates. People come in and they're like, something's wrong with my dog. And I'll be like, nah, there you go. Yeah. Just hit him. Not hit him, but just tap his ass. Nah, he's good. Poof. And then he runs off, and they're like, holy shit. Well, he wasn't doing that earlier, I'll tell you that much. And I'll be like, yeah, that's how we do shit down at the vet clinic. Give him a quick ass tap. And then if an animal did come in like looking really bad, I would just be like, it's time. It is time. I don't know how much to put in the needle, but we're just going to fill it for now. I'm going to go with fill it and make adjustments from there. Here's how you know vets are running a racket. When you go to the vet with an animal that needs to be put down, they take you in the room, they put it down, and then immediately they go, all right, let's go to the till. Here we go, straight to the till. Get ready to tap your visa, crybaby. We're not going to give you 24 hours to think about it. Right to the till. $80, you take it home, or $150, we throw it in the dumpster. What do you think? Want to carry a dead friend home, or $150, we throw it in the cardboard only? That got horrible at the end, and I apologize. That joke was pretty good for a little while, and then it got quite sad. I watch a lot of documentaries, everybody. I watched one where they asked 100 people in their 40s. They said, if you could go back in time and talk to the 15-year-old version of yourself, what is the one piece of advice you'd give? And the number one answer by far was, I would tell them everything is going to be okay. Which sounds good in theory, but not in practice, not in the real world. Like if the fat 43-year-old me rolled into my old junior high school looking like a sad drama teacher, and rolled up to the fat zit-faced 15-year-old me at his locker. And I was like, "Hey, buddy, it's me, you, from the future. I just wanted you to know that everything's going to be okay." He would take one look at me and be like, "Well, clearly it wasn't, because you look like a bag of shit." You know, I was kind of hoping never getting laid was a phase we were going through, but it looks like it holds pretty steady throughout our entire lives. I was quite depressed about my present situation, but hopeful about the future until seeing you and your sad fat face. Now I know that everything's hellish from here on out. Thank you, Sean, for being here. I also watched, have you ever seen the show Vikings? I watched 4 seasons in a day. That's how much time I have on my hands. I watched 4. There's no way you can watch 4 seasons of the Vikings and not feel like you can murder people. You know what I mean? Everything's in slow motion. They're watching other people fight while they fight. Who does that? You know, you ever see, they're murdering, but then they stop and go, "How's Terry doing?" You know, 500 people trying to kill him, and they're like worried about their friend. I thought I could be, but then I realized I'm actually a coward who's afraid of everything, and I wouldn't be a good Viking. If I was, my Viking nickname, if I was back in those times, would be Shawnee Two Shields. Absolutely zero sword work, just 2 hands, both shields, full defense, trying to stay alive. The longest serving member, the only atheist on the crew. What, Valhalla's not real, guys. Get your shields up. I'd be the downer, I don't know if we should sail today, fellas. Those clouds look nasty. Why do we have to scream when we come ashore? Have you guys ever heard of a secret? Jesus. Let's try not to die today. I was going to, I'm doing like a debate. I don't know if you guys have heard of CBC debaters or whatever, but I'm doing one, and they usually get me to do one where I'm saying horrible things about a town. Like I'll usually go to like Yellowknife and say that the Northern Lights are shit, or something. So people hate me and they boo. So, and it's just part of the deal is they'll be like, "That guy, boo," I had to go to Vancouver and argue against science during COVID. They booed the hell out of me. They didn't know I was kidding. I was just, "Hey, you vaccine injury denying assholes." And they were like, "You bastard." So I have to do one in Edmonton. I was going to try a few. If you're laughing, then I'll keep going. And if you're not, I'll stop. But I have to roast Edmonton. The debate topic, we're doing it at like a drive-in at K-Days or something, like the K-Days grounds. So it's called the city because Edmonton has so much to offer its residents, be it resolved that Edmonton metropolitan region should be the first place Canadians visit post-pandemic. And I have to say, no, they shouldn't, because Edmonton sucks, right? So my first thing is visiting Edmonton is a lot like going bowling. Right after you say, "We should do that more," and then you don't. If you like bumper stickers of Calvin peeing on things, this is your town. Edmonton, the only city on earth where this debate topic even makes sense to contemplate. Imagine a post-pandemic world. All your friends are in Maui and you took the family to Alberta's capital. Everyone you know is on a beach and you're on the phone with Enterprise trying to find out if your rental car has a block heater. I don't know if that's the greatest. There are days every year that Edmonton is the coldest place on the planet. Winter is awful. That's why it was the scary place in Game of Thrones. If they'd said summer is coming, everyone must buy sunscreen and refill their propane tanks for barbecue season, everyone would want to go. We pretend we love it, don't we? We pretend we love winter. Oh, I like the cold. It's better. I like the cold better than the heat. At least you can dress for it. Yeah, you can dress for space too, but in January, whether you're in Alberta or on Mars, if your suit rips, you're dead. The snow looks beautiful. Sure, catch an eyeful while you can because it's pitch black 21 hours a day. 3 hours of white Christmas, then right back to planet Hoth. Cutting open wounded tauntauns to keep warm. But Sean, the Northern Lights are majestic. Did you know they have Southern Lights in Australia? Yeah, they do. But you probably didn't know that because they don't brag about it. Because there are other things to do in Australia. Freezing with your head cocked back doesn't crack the top 10 down under, you know? The World Water Park. Sure, I'd love to pay $27 for a locker big enough to fit a kid's jacket and one adult shoe. I'll do a couple more. The River Valley, known for its close proximity to the river. You know, that one you can't eat fish out of. If your friend was about to take a bite of something he caught in the North Saskatchewan, you'd run over and smack the fork out of his hand. Meet me in Edmonton, guys, down by the Poison Water tributary. Okay, some of these suck, and we're losing steam on it. Who gives a shit? We're having some fun. Oh, yeah, I have children. I don't know if you guys have children. They're a good time. You know how people say kids say the darndest things? They don't really say the darndest things. They say things that are like heartbreaking and awful and hurt you sometimes. Have you noticed that? I had my wife bought a $300 cat litter machine, and we didn't have the money for it, but what the hell, right? So it's got pellets, and it spins. Like the cat does its business in the litter box, and then it spins and water pours into the top of it, and then all that waste goes out of the hose and into the drain, and it works really well for a minute. And then the pellets start to get stuck in the hose as it's coming out, and it shuts off, right? And now you're done. Now it starts to backfill. So I was down in the basement, and I've got the pellets out of it, and I'm just free flowing all this like cat pee and shit out of it into the drain. And my son walks into the room and looks at me and goes, "Hey, Dad, would you drink all that to get your mom back to life?" And I was like, I don't know why did you say that? What did you just say? Why would you say, go to your room now, immediately? I don't even know why. You didn't break a rule. But it really pisses me off because he made me think about it, you know? He made me have a good think on it. Oh, I don't know. A couple people, Tim Lancaster didn't love that one. Old Timmy Lancaster. He's the only guy I'm talking to. Timmy Lancaster's just sitting in his beautiful couch. There he is. There's old Tim. Oh, my God. The Tragically Hip behind you? Nice. Good for you guys. You must be in St. Albert. That's where I think you are. Are you in St. Albert, Tim? Great. Zoom isn't great for crowd work. People are like, how many Tim Lancasters are in this? I don't know if he's talking to me. But I'll do, yeah, my kids are fun. They're little boys. Me and my wife went to Walmart to look at child seats, and she saw one for like $350. And she's like, we should get that. Those are the best. I've done some research. I'm like, why don't we get the other ones that are right next to it that are like half that price? And she's like, no, those aren't as good. And you can't put a price on safety. And I was like, they did. They actually put a price right on safety. And I really hate that price. You know what I mean? That's way too much. I don't know why women want the expensive seat. Men are not buckling children properly. Let's be honest. When a girl's there, we'll do the whole thing. But when you're not, it's top and go. Let's get out of here. Cops can't even see the bottom buckle. It's a waste of a buckle. Why would you buckle something cops can't see? That's the dumbest advice. You know? We're not transporting Hannibal Lecter here. They're children. We're going to Sev, not Mars. What do we need 99 harnesses for? Because my 5-year-old, he'd get in his seat, buckle himself, top and bottom. Boom, smart. 3-year-old, not as bright. He just does the top. And then looks at me like, get down there, loser. Get down. Get down into my crotch area and buckle this. So I went to buckle one of his straps, but it accidentally pinched his skin. Yeah, so he karate chopped me in the throat. Like, just hammers me. You know? And he's the dumb one, so it hurts more. That's true. I don't know if you have more than one kid, but one of them's always a little dumber than the other. And they hit way harder than the smart one. I don't know what the connection is between IQ and punch strength, but it's very real. So he gives me the dummy throat punch, you know? As a grown man, when you feel that on your throat, you just instinctively pull your arm back. That's what Jesus does. I'm cocked. You know, he's not even scared. He just looks at me like, bring it, loser, bring it. You know, I didn't punch him, by the way. He was half strapped in, not a fair fight. So I went and sat in my seat. We're late. I'm mad. We just start driving. And my 5-year-old's like, Dad, you didn't buckle Sam properly. That's not safe. And I was like, just shut up. Have you ever screamed shut up into a child's face? It has therapeutic value. I'm not going to lie to you. It really, screaming shut your mouth to one of your children. I don't do it around other adults because then they'll judge you. But when it's just me and the kids, I do occasionally tell them to shut their stupid, tiny garbage mouths. You know, doesn't hurt their feelings. All they care about is V-Bucks, you know, a new skin for their Fortnite character. They don't give a shit about my life and worries. I know there's people out there that don't have kids yet, and you're like, that's not what I'll do. When I have kids, I'll answer all their questions. That's not, you're going to try, but I guarantee you one day, I promise you, one day, you're going to look into a crib in a room you just painted and tell a baby to shut its mouth. And you'll leave the room smiling. You will. Be like, I'm really glad I told that baby to shut up. Feels good. So we get to kindergarten to drop my 5-year-old off. What I did not know at the time is there was a police officer at the school doing a seminar for children, right? Because cops love to talk to kids, you know, because none of those kids have been pulled over yet, so they still think cops are heroes, right? Because that's how we raise kids. From 0 to 10, we're like, if you have a problem, go to the police. Once they turn 11, we're like, obviously, run now. You got some shit in your pockets. You know, nobody goes to the cops for life. That's a really bad idea. Once you get to 11, you got to hop fences. So we, you know, this cop is talking to these kids about like not doing drugs, which I think is a little weird for the drug talk when these kids are in grade 2. That's a little early. You know, the cop's like, hey, kids, don't do drugs. And the kids are like, I mostly jump for fun. They're like, good, keep jumping, because heroin's more difficult to quit than jumping is. You know? So the cop's talking. At some point, my son stands up. He's like, excuse me, Mr. Policeman. My dad didn't buckle my brother this morning. And the cop's like, well, you tell your dad that's not safe. And he's like, I already did that. And he said, shut up, shut your mouth. I wish you were never born. That's exactly what he said. Shut your F-wording mouth hole. I can only hear one person laughing this entire show. It's, I feel like my wife has organized this show to get me so demoralized that I start cooking more. If I can't do comedy, I guess I should learn to make curries. You know? That's what I've done during the pandemic is I've learned to make food. I thought ladies were magic. I was like, this is delicious. How do girls do it? And then I researched it and realized it's all just fucking cream. They're just putting cream in it. No wonder it tastes great. You're trying to kill us. Okay. You know what I like? You know what should do is, you know what I like to do? What makes parenting easier is just a little drugs, just a little weed, just sort of high. Not all the way, a little bit. You know, makes their stories fun to listen to. My kids like it when I'm high. They really do, because they take one look at my eyes and they're like, sweet, it's medium blizzard time. You know what I mean? We're definitely not getting Smalls. If he tries to get us Smalls, we'll tell Mom he was driving. And you know, it's fun. I like to go to Dairy Queen and get that, you know. You know what, I dispensaries, like Ryan was talking about dealers, and, you know, kids don't really get how hard it used to be to get drugs. I used to have to go to a forklift driver's garage and stay there for 3 hours to get an eighth of bunk hash. You know, 3 hours playing Uno with his kids because he was absolutely convinced the cops like lived across the street. And now kids just go to a dispensary. And I don't like dispensaries. It's like a cross between an Apple store and a wine store. It's like antiseptic and pretentious at the same time. You know, like when you go to a wine store, they always try to pair your wine with a food. You know, when you go to a dispensary, they always try to pair your marijuana with an activity. Like when I go to the dispensary, I just want to get the strongest available product. That's all I'm looking for. What gets me the highest? But I don't really want to look like an addict, so I peruse. Like I might be interested in a 2% sativa. Get out of here, you know? So I'm looking around, and then the lady comes up to me, and she goes, oh, that's a 12% sativa blonde. That is perfect if you're going hang gliding with your sister-in-law. And I'm like, I just want to watch a movie. You know what I mean? I don't really want to be in the air with that lady. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Didn't hear a damn thing on that one. This is fun doing a show in in the industrial zone on 162nd. This is sorry to all of Kent's sponsors. Look at these. Kent's probably getting texts from Glenora Lumber like, "Can you pull my ad, please? Can you pull it for the final 3 minutes? I don't want Glenora Lumber up there next to that guy's face." You're starting to tarnish my brand. That's fun. But I do, I have some problems. I don't know if you guys have any mental issues, do you? I have depression and sleep apnea, which is a weird combo to have depression and sleep apnea. Because with sleep apnea, like you choke and struggle to breathe like 300 times a night and you snore very loud, so everybody hates you. Right? So with depression, I spend most of my day wondering whether or not it's worth it to continue. And then I fall asleep and fight for my fucking life all night long. And then I wake up tired and sad, and the cycle continues. Oh, shit. Okay, I'll do one more. No, stay forever, said the crowd who wants to fucking leave. You know what I did a couple years ago that was a huge mistake is I became the head coach of a minor sports team, head coach of a minor hockey team. Never do it. Never do it. Don't volunteer. I just, you get an email from the association and they say, we need a coach. And then you ignore it like every other human on earth. You hope somebody else does it. And then they email back a week later and go, hey, look, if you can't coach, there might not be a team this year. So I was like, all right. So I talked to the lady. I'm like, I guess I'll do it. And she goes, okay, the first thing I need you to do is go down to the police station to make sure you're not like a predator or something. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm giving off that vibe, maybe I could just be a Jersey dad, if you already have your suspicions about my proclivities, maybe I shouldn't be the coach, And then she told me everybody has to do it. That made me feel better. And then I had the same birthday as a pedophile, so I had to wait on that for 2 weeks. That's a weird quirk in the system. They were like, you're going to wait longer. And I was like, why? Because you have the same birthday as a pedophile. I'm like, well, thanks for that visual. Now every time I'm blowing out the candles, I'll be like, yeah, November 4th, not the greatest day. There are problems with November 4th, everybody. Because you can't change your birthday. Anyway, so I became the head coach of the shittiest Adam Tier 5 team ever assembled. I drafted my team based on how hot their moms were. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. My kids are out there with their dainty fingers and their high cheekbones getting shit kicked by farm kids from Vegreville, Because we're trying to have fun. It's like, hey, let's have fun. You go to Vegreville, it's fucking fun isn't in the top 10. These kids are out there protecting the egg with their lives. They don't give a shit. Their 300-pound ski jacket mom leaning over. Kill them! Kill everybody, Chad! That's good stock. That's where good hockey players come from. Just dump truck mom and a weird dad who doesn't speak. So I didn't know how to coach, right? So I had these kids on the ice. I remember the first time I was like, all right, everybody, spread out. That's the only coach thing I knew. So I was like, spread out, everybody. And then I was like, all right, grab a puck and do that with it. There you go. There you go. Now you're doing it. That's hockey, what you're doing. Back and forth, just like that. Look up, right? Mostly up, sometimes down. Mostly up. Just like texting and driving. Same basic principle. Mostly the area that can kill you and occasionally a cake on Instagram. But so these kids, they weren't learning shit. And the funny thing is the parents thought I was a shitty coach. And you can tell because when you leave the dressing room and walk the hallway and they're all in the cafeteria area, as soon as you walk by, they all go, shut up, he's here. Shut up. Shut up. The fat loser who's ruining our season is here. Stop talking about him. And I did suck. But you know what I thought I would do is I put a listening device in the stands so I could listen to what all the parents were saying during the game, right? so I could put their feedback into my practice plan to start impressing them. That's what I thought. And after the game, I listened to all of it, and a lot of it was hurtful. A lot of it did hurt my feelings. A lot of personal attacks that I didn't appreciate. Very uncalled for. But there was some good stuff, right? So the next practice, I had the kids on the ice, and as soon as all the parents arrived, I was like, all right, it's parent practice time. Here we go. All right, kids, grab a puck, get it out of the corner, and then go around the net, and then get it out of there. Okay, that's all we're going to do today, is we're really going to focus on our get it out of theirs. And then if we have time at the end, we'll get it in there. That's really the feedback I've been getting from our parents, is they really want us to get it the fuck out of there. That's their primary concern, is that we're very bad at getting it out of there. They don't have any ideas for how to do that, but they just want it the fuck out of there. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get it out of there. And then the parents were like, fucking finally a real practice. They're getting it out of there for once. They're rimming it. They're rimming it off the glass and out, just like I always dreamed. I don't know. I think I've been talking probably too long, but there was a guy in high school that he was a bully. He bullied me, and then guess what happened? He went on to become very successful with a beautiful wife and children. So joke's on him, right? Because I just got turned down for a job as a fucking janitor overnights in Fort Saskatchewan cleaning trailers. You know, you'd think that if you applied for a $16 an hour job cleaning trailers at a construction site, they would let you down easy, right? They would ignore it. They'd pretend they didn't receive your resume. But they didn't do that. They got a hold of me and they're like, yeah, Sean doesn't look like a great fit. Is that right? I don't look like a great fit. I'm not fit to clean up fucking welder spittle. Yeah, you know the shit that welders leave around the toilet? We don't think you're good enough to clean that. We found somebody who we think might be able to do that a little better than you. Because some of those specks of shit are hard to get at. And you don't look like you've got the professional's touch. But so this guy that bullied me and became successful, I was like, you know, I tried not to think about him. And then all of a sudden I saw his wife on Facebook, and she's full QAnon. Full Q. She drank the whole bottle of red pills. Adrenochrome, Hillary Clinton, fucking demons, the whole goddamn bit. I'm a healer, anti-vax, the whole fucking thing. And I thought, yes, I finally win, because this asshole has to deal with a Q-mom. That is the worst life you can have as a parent, as a dad. Like, if you're a Q dad, if you're a full QAnon conspiracy dad, then everybody in your family just laughs when you say your bullshit, right? They're like, oh, that's dad. You know, dad and his stupid ideas about life. But when your mom is Q, fucking, that's serious. That's to be listened to. And you're the dad. And you have to be like, kids, listen to your mother. Take your masks off at the hospital, please, because it's important. You know, your wife's like, I just feel like when I talk to the kids about coming in because the demons and the chemtrails are coming, we need to be a united front on that, okay? And when I hear you denying vaccine injury, it makes me not want to fuck you. And that's horrible. It's a horrible feeling as a wife. So I'm glad that his life is hell now. It's switched, you know? But again, I'm not good enough to be a janitor. But I don't know how long I've been up here, but who gives a shit? You guys were a lot of fun. Thanks for coming. Tanya and Dale. It's just Tanya now. We lost Dale. Brian and Shelly, they stayed through the whole fucking thing. There they are. They got all their money with K4. Gail Todd, Tim Lancaster. Can't even get it. There we go. There we go. Thanks a lot, everybody. Well, thank you guys. You guys were a lot of fun. You know, thanks. We had a very diverse show tonight. 4 white straight males. And I was demonstrably the ugliest, which is hard to live with. 4 dudes on a show, and you're the ugliest by a long shot. 2 8s, 1 7, and a 2 on this. Kent's the 7, and I'm the 2. So you guys are a lot of fun. Enjoy your evening. Take care, everybody. See you after the 4th wave.
Actually really good. Yeah, it was very good.
That's it. thank you guys so much for tuning in and checking it out. And we're gonna go watch the PVR hockey game. Thank you for anybody that's a client or sponsored the event or just a subscriber on the channel. We're so happy to have you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Another hand for Sean LeComber, Charles Haycock, and Ryan Ash. And stay safe. Keep well. Hope everybody's doing all right. And we'll talk soon. Thanks.
Thank you.
I just meant you could have just said that was really good instead of